They told me to give up my room like it was a borrowed sweater. No apology, no explanation, just expectation. They thought I was just a girl with a laptop and a dream. But while they dismissed me, I built something they would never understand. That morning, as the pale light of the bay filtered through my window, my stepmother's clipped voice cut through the hallway like a gavel on cold marble. "Ava, we need your room," she announced, devoid of warmth, like she was closing a business deal. I looked up from my monitors, still locked into the trading algorithms I'd been optimizing since dawn, and raised an eyebrow. "Excuse me?" I asked. "Chloe's coming back, fresh from Wharton, MBA in hand. She needs space to launch her consultancy, and your room has the strongest Wi-Fi," she replied, glancing over my meticulously organized workstation as though it were a pile of laundry. "The garage is ready for you. We cleared it out this morning." I was 26, living in the house my late grandfather built in Palo Alto, a place now ruled by my father and his second wife, as though they were Silicon Valley royalty. I worked remotely for a DeFi hedge fund, while quietly building something far more ambitious of my own. It wasn't flashy, but it was mine. Not that anyone in that house had ever bothered to understand it. "The garage doesn't even have insulation," I said flatly. My father appeared behind her like a corporate ghost. "Maybe that's what you need," he said with a smirk. "A little discomfort to push you. Time to stop playing tech genius and start thinking about your future. You know, like Chloe." Ah, Chloe, the golden child. The one who couldn't land a single client but still made the Christmas card with her Ivy League grin and LinkedIn ready captions. "I already have a job," I muttered, though I knew better than to expect recognition. My title meant nothing to them. Neither did the sleepless nights or the system I was building that had already outperformed some of Wall Street's best. "You staring at charts on a laptop doesn't count," my stepmother scoffed. "Chloe needs this space for real work. She's going places." Her voice dripped with pride, and for a split second I wondered if she ever even remembered what I did. I glanced around the room, the flowcharts pinned to the walls, the neural net drafts tacked beside them, layers of code that had taken years to refine. To them, it was chaos. To me, it was legacy. "Fine," I said, cool and steady, turning back to my screen. "I'll go." Not because I was giving in, but because I was finished with the charade. 3 years of quiet dismissal, of sitting through toasts about Chloe's latest venture, while they ignored everything I'd built. "You have until noon," my father added as he turned away. "Chloe's desk arrives tomorrow." That almost made me laugh. Noon tomorrow? That was when Zephyr, my AI-driven fintech system, would officially go live. Later that night, as I boxed up the last of my setup, my phone buzzed. A single encrypted message from Arjun, my CTO. "Launch protocol locked. Zephyr goes live at 12 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. 1-800-GO-PST." I couldn't help but smile. They thought I was just a girl in a hoodie, fiddling with numbers. But for 3 ruthless, relentless years, I had been building something lethal. An autonomous investment engine that predicted global market shifts with surgical precision. I called it Zephyr Technologies. It was cloaked in offshore entities and firewalls, and no one, not even my own family, had any idea it existed. The job they thought I had? Just a front. Zephyr operated from the upper floors of an anonymous downtown San Francisco tower. No signage, no digital footprint. But that anonymity was about to end with the launch of Zephyr Pulse, a public-facing platform set to disrupt the institutions that once overlooked me, including one very specific institution. Another message came through from Arjun. Phase 1 confirmed. Meridian Trust acquisition finalized. Meridian Trust, their bank, the one that financed Chloe's 6-figure education and my stepmother's renovation projects, but couldn't spare a dime to support my first venture. By the time they woke up tomorrow, the bank they trusted with their wealth would belong to me. As I taped up the last box, Chloe's voice floated down the hallway. "Mom, are we doing modern glam or coastal chic for Ava's old room?" My room, my sanctuary, the space they always reminded me was temporary, just like my place in their lives. I remembered the college graduation they skipped for a wine tasting weekend, the startup I launched on a maxed out credit card while they posted about Chloe's entrepreneurial journey. Ava, my stepmother, called again. Don't forget to leave your house key. You won't be coming back. I placed the key on my desk. No words, no goodbye. They were right. I wasn't coming back. As I walked to my car, I heard them chatting in the kitchen, debating wallpaper patterns like they hadn't just evicted me. This space should reflect real ambition, someone said. Not whatever Ava was doing. I slid into the driver's seat and opened my laptop. One final command: initiate Tiger Precaution Authorization, Zephyr Prime. A prompt blinked on screen. Protocol Tiger initiated. System-wide execution begins in 8 hours. I closed the lid and started the engine. Not a flashy ride like Chloe's imported coupe, but a clean, quiet hybrid. Intentional. Underestimated. Like me. Tomorrow, the world would see Zephyr for what it truly was. And for the first time, they'd understand the weight of real success. But before that, they'd feel the silence, the power shift, the unraveling. I drove through the humming city toward my real home, a glass-clad penthouse at the top of arc-like towers, built not on privilege but on precision. The most exclusive residence in San Francisco. The valet opened the private garage for me, the concierge greeted me by name, and the elevator swept me straight to a private foyer. Up here, I wasn't the underachiever. I was Ms. Langston, elusive founder of Zephyr Technologies. I stepped into my sleek home office, where rows of monitors flickered with real-time data. Zephyr Pulse was fully primed for launch. But this wasn't just about disrupting Wall Street anymore. It was about exposing what had been hidden for years. Zephyr's system would scan and flag illicit financial flows, shell structures, and shadow accounts. One firm in particular stood out in the crosshairs: Langston Equity Holdings, the very company my father used to create Chloe's secret trust funds, all while telling me I needed to build something on my own. A soft ping from my laptop lit up the screen. A new message in the family group chat. Dinner tomorrow night at Bellere to celebrate Chloe's consulting debut. Ava, you're welcome. If you figured out your living situation, wear something appropriate. Bellere, their temple of status. The same place where, 5 years ago, they toasted Chloe's MBA, while I waited tables 2 blocks away just to buy my first laptop. Tomorrow night, they'd be raising glasses again, unaware that their platinum cards would fail before dessert. The very institution backing their lifestyle would by then belong to me. I replied with a single line: I'll be there. Then I opened the folder labeled Project Homecoming. Inside was a detailed archive. Every instance of neglect, every trace of favoritism, and every financial slight, cross-referenced with Zephyr's internal data confirming our imminent acquisition of Langston Equity and its affiliate banks. A voice came over the intercom. Ms. Langston, the board is assembled for the final launch briefing. Serena, my assistant, announced. Thank you, Serena. I'm on my way. I paused at the mirror. No more invisibility. No more playing small. I wasn't Ava, the forgotten one. I was the narrative they never saw coming. The next evening, Bellere was glowing with warm light and polished glass. I walked through its golden doors with quiet confidence. Bernard, the maitre d', spotted me immediately. Your usual table, Ms. Langston, he asked with a subtle bow. I shook my head. Not tonight, Bernard. I'm joining them. I moved toward the corner where my family was already deep into their second round of wine. Chloe was gesturing with perfectly manicured fingers. Eyes lit up as she described her new apartment. Top floor, 47th story. Skyline on one side, Bay Bridge on the other. My stepmother's face stiffened slightly when she noticed me. Ava, you actually came. We already ordered, my father said, barely glancing up from his phone. had a few things to take care of, I said evenly, sliding into the last seat. Still the seat farthest from the center. Business? Chloe asked, smirking. Is that what we're calling couch surfing these days? My father finally looked up, probably still checking Langston equity stock. You're staying somewhere respectable, right? We have a family name to uphold. Before I could answer, Chloe jumped back in. The CEO personally walked me through orientation. He says I could be a director in 5 years. Speaking of directors, I said calmly, cutting through her monologue. Did you hear about the board overhaul at Meridian Trust? My father paused. What overhaul? At that moment, the server arrived with a bottle of champagne. My stepmother reached for her purse, beaming. Let's get another bottle. It's a celebration after all, my treat. She handed over her platinum card. I leaned back, already knowing what was coming. Moments later, the waiter returned, voice tense. Apologies, ma'am, but your card was declined. That's absurd, she snapped. Try again. We did. 3 times. Perhaps another card? Now my father looked irritated. He handed over his own card. The waiter returned, still apologetic. I'm sorry, sir. This one as well. Chloe sighed softly, reaching for her Morgan Stanley corporate card. Fine. Here. Let me. And just before she could hand it over, I set my water glass down and spoke. That won't work either. They all turned toward me, confusion flickering into tension. What do you mean? My father asked, voice sharp. I met his eyes and answered clearly. About Meridian Trust. There's been a change in leadership. As of midnight, all account activity is under new management. Silence. And just like that, the room shifted. This wasn't just a dinner. It was the moment they realized the one they ignored had taken control of everything they thought they owned. My stepmother's face went pale. What are you saying? Protocol Tiger. I leaned back in my chair, watching as the puzzle slowly clicked into place behind my father's eyes. He'd spent decades in finance. He'd heard whispers about a new player disrupting the system. That's impossible, he muttered. Zephyr's system, I confirmed. The one everyone's been talking about. The one that just finalized its acquisition of Meridian Trust. Chloe blinked, confused. What does that have to do with our cards not working? Standard protocol. I folded my hands calmly. The system identified a series of suspicious activities across your personal and corporate accounts. Hidden trusts, unusual transfers, creative tax routing. Until they're cleared, everything gets frozen. My father's face darkened. How do you know this? I smiled. Because I built it. I am Zephyr, technology's silence dropped like a bomb. Even Chloe's constant hum of self-congratulation went quiet. That's absurd, she finally said. You work at some garage startup. A cover, I replied coolly. Zephyr operates through dozens of shell firms. That little startup? Just one node in a global structure. We employ over 3,000 people in 15 countries. As of today, we control the infrastructure of your entire financial footprint. My stepmother's hands trembled around her napkin. But you're just what? I cut in. Just the girl you told to sleep in the garage? Just the disappointment who wasn't worth investing in? Just the one who wasn't Chloe? I pulled a black unmarked card from my clutch and handed it to the hovering waiter. A small Zephyr Prime insignia shimmered in the corner. The champagne's on me. Actually, everything they've ordered here for the last 5 years has been on me. I bought this building 3 years ago. The waiter gave a small bow. Of course, Miss Langston. Langston? My father repeated, stunned. You're Ava Langston? I nodded once. The same Ava Langston who built the very system you just tried to use. You might have missed it. Too busy following Chloe's press mentions to notice what I was building. Chloe's lips parted slightly, her face ghostly pale. And yes, the Morgan Stanley merger. Their trading platform partner is Zephyr. You'll be using my tech if you're still there after the review. If you're still watching, you've seen the false start, but it's just beginning. Tap subscribe and stick around, because next they learn what it means when the girl they dismiss becomes the architect of their downfall. Protocol Tiger has already flagged some unusual activity in your department's trading history, Chloe, I said evenly. So if I were you, I wouldn't bank on keeping that director track. My stepmother leaned across the table, voice trembling. Ava, sweetheart. Can't we talk about this? We're still family. Family? I stood slowly, letting my eyes meet each of theirs. My father's flushed with anger, my stepmother's pale with fear, Chloe's stunned and silent. Family doesn't evict you for not being the favorite. Family doesn't ignore your achievements just because they weren't handed down by connections. Family doesn't skip your graduation for brunch at the yacht club. I picked up my purse. Deep green alligator leather. Subtle but unmistakably elite. Worth more than the sedan my father bragged about in his office garage. Your accounts will remain frozen until our audit is complete, I continued. And based on what Protocol Tiger is already uncovering, I'd prepare for a call from the SEC, probably before the weekend. You can't do this, my father growled. I already did. I smiled, then paused mid-turn. Oh, and Chloe? I tilted my head. If you're looking for a place to crash, I hear the garage gets excellent sunlight this time of year. I walked out without looking back. Behind me, my stepmother's muffled sob, my father's angry muttering, Chloe's stunned silence. In my hand, my phone buzzed with an encrypted update from Arjun. Protocol Tiger response. Historic. Zephyr stock has tripled since open. I laughed under my breath. That cramped garage they'd condemned me to? It was where I wrote the first line of code for Zephyr Technologies, the beginning of the system that now owned their legacy. Over the next few weeks, everything unraveled. The SEC investigation exposed years of shady ledgers at Langston Equity Holdings. Chloe's position was dissolved during a full restructuring at Morgan Stanley. My stepmother's social invitations dried up faster than their frozen accounts. And me? I kept building. Not for their recognition, but because I finally understood. True success isn't about boardroom bragging rights or inherited prestige. It's about creating something with impact. These days, when people ask me how it all started, I tell them the truth. Sometimes getting kicked out is the best thing that can happen to you, and sometimes the best revenge is served with a declined platinum card at their favorite table in Bellarive. But if you've stayed with me this far, thank you. Thank you for listening. For seeing what they refused to see in me for years. I wasn't the perfect daughter. I wasn't the golden child. But I was the one who built something from nothing. And maybe that's why I'm speaking to you now, because I know I'm not alone. So tell me, have you ever been overlooked, doubted, treated like a burden in your own home while someone else was handed the spotlight? Drop a comment below and share your story. I want to hear from you. Because this isn't just about me, it's about all of us who were told we weren't enough, and then proved we were more than they ever imagined. And if you've ever been pushed out, cast aside, or underestimated, don't break. Build something so powerful that one day, those who dismissed you will have no choice but to see you. Hit that subscribe button if you believe in that kind of power. Not revenge for revenge's sake, but the kind of quiet victory that changes everything. Because sometimes the best thing they can do is doubt you, and the best thing you can do is rise anyway. If you've ever been underestimated, told you weren't enough, or asked to step aside, this is your story. For the silent builders, the outshined, the overlooked, this is your rise. You don't need permission. You don't need applause. Just results. Real power speaks in silence. Legacy is louder than praise. Subscribe and join those rewriting the rules.